available. We're building our YouTube channel, so it'll all be available for a later discussion. Today's topic is the power of declaration. The power of declaration in business and in personal life, and really important to understand it. I call it a power move. I have up on the screen the picture of Lower Manhattan, right? The new Freedom Tower. I took this photograph a couple of months ago, and then right next to it here I have this other image of Midtown. I also took this, both pictures were taken from Hoboken. And I stand there, this is like my favorite place on the planet. And I stand there and I look at it and I go, wow, everything you see in this picture that's man-made was declared into existence. Somebody had an idea in their head for a building called the Empire State Building, or some of these other buildings. I don't know the names of all of them, but every building, every brick, every piece of glass, every piece of pipe, everything you see there, every street was declared into existence. This is the power. You know, I've been engaged in understanding and studying. It turns out to be my life's work. Understanding language, understanding communication, understanding the power that we all have to do things like this. But be clear. Be clear. You work at the place you work, your company, everything in your life is tied to your ability to communicate. Every result. Communicate, language, and action, moving. Language and movement. You know, but everything in these images. How I got started on this stuff, I'll just share a little bit of the background with you. Now here's my promise for today. We're going to talk about some theory, and we're going to talk about some high-level stuff, but then I'm going to take it right back and I'm going to make it very practical. My promise is that at the end of today, before this half-hour session is up, I will leave you with something very powerful that everybody on this call can put on the court immediately, that can have a positive, powerful impact in your life and in your business. Like, you know, it's hard to separate, you know, our business life and our personal life, because you're in the middle of both of them. So my statement is, and the reason that I had this topic about declarations today is because I've been studying this stuff for 35 years. It's not possible. Here's my conclusion. It's not possible for you to be a powerful human being if you can't make powerful declarations. It's not possible for you to be the best salesperson that you can be unless you can make powerful declarations. It's just not going to happen. Okay? A little background. When I was 30 years of age, I met this fellow right here. New York City. I took a communications workshop like we all do. This was in a classroom setting, and he comes out to speak, Fernando Flores, interesting guy. At one point, he was the economics minister for the country of Chile under Salvador Allende, was his boss, the president. He was had a cabinet position. He was involved in the military coup when, I think it was 1973, General Pinochet overthrew the government, and Salvador Allende either committed suicide or was murdered, one or the other. They don't really know for sure. Fernando was there. He was thrown in prison for 3 years. And while he was in prison, he networked with other intellectuals. And by the way, if you ever want to take over a country, I just say this, if you ever want to take over the country, you have to lock away the intellectuals. That's what they do. So Fernando actually shared with me when he was in prison for the first year and a half or 2 years, he was upset and angry. I shouldn't be here. But then he got into relationship with other intellectuals, and they were working on books, and they were working on theories and everything. And he said when Amnesty International came, the guards said, "Hey, Fernando Flores, you got to leave. They got you out." He said, "Oh, not yet. I'm not ready to go yet." I thought that was pretty ironic, and he laughed about it, you know. But He was an interesting guy, and he was an economics in charge of the economy in Chile. He was a civil engineer and a philosopher. And here's what he taught me. He came out to teach 1980, 81, I forget the exact year, but about 35 years ago. And he said, and this floored me, he said, Dan, he said, in all communication, you know, there's 1 million words in the English language. You got to design your business, your daily life, everything, the sales, interaction with customers. You have 1 million words to choose from, right? So it can get very complex. Relationships can become very complex if you look at all the words. And what he said was, there's only 6 moves different than words, 6 speech acts or words. That's all. In the whole world, to create everything you saw in the picture in New York City was created from what I show you here on this page. And this blew my mind when I was a young man. It captivated me. And when I got involved in the automotive industry, I said, wow, we have to design a training program that's based on these core fundamentals. And I have. I call it the language of commitment. But here's what Flores taught me. In all communication, there's 6 moves. This is all you can do. And this is all you ever have done from the moment you've been born until now, is made requests of yourself or other people, made promises to yourself and other people, made statements of fact or assertions, and made declarations. So this is 4 of the moves. Now declarations come in 3 varieties. That's how we get to the 6. It's these 4. And the typical declaration that you've heard of, you know, and I'm going to get into a little bit, Declaration of Independence, right? Invented a new nation. Declaration of Marriage invents a new relationship with your betrothed, right? Declaration of Divorce creates a different type of relationship, right? Okay, and so that's one type, declaring a new business into existence. I'm going to start a new company. That's the similar as the, you know, Declaration of Independence. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to get into shape. These are all declarations, right? Declarations also come in the form of assessments. So you see a fabulous car pull into the shop. It's a fabulous Ferrari or Mustang that's tricked out. The guys all stand around and hey, what a fabulous car. That's an assessment about the vehicle. It's also a declaration. Declarations are really important, like I said. You may have a new hire, a new employee come in and you get together behind the scenes and somebody says, well, he's not too bright. That's a declaration in the form of an assessment that affects the future of that employee. So you have to be very careful when you make declarations. Declarations, I said, are the power move. And I can say this, it's not possible for you or me or anybody to be a powerful human being if you don't understand and can't make powerful declarations. You can make declarations about other people. You can make declarations on behalf of other people. So it's really, really, really powerful. Declarations invent the future. How often? 100% of the time. That's what they do. The last type of declaration is an offer. Oh, I've got a fabulous tire deal for you today. Declaration. I've got a great house for you. I want you to look at it. I got a great house. Let's look at it together. Declaration. I've got a great house. Declaration. Okay. I promise you, what I'm going to do is take this power move, and we're going to bring it into really practical stuff on the job. Okay. But first, I'm going to make this claim that each of you, myself included, all of us, have unlimited personal power in the domain of language and communication. You can declare anything you want into existence, but there's certain elements that have to be present. The best way, I think, to illustrate that is I'm going to play a real short video for you of President Kennedy delivering one of the most famous declarations of all time, a speech from Rice University, 1962, his famous moon speech. And then we'll look at it, we'll just analyze it just a little bit, okay? So here's the famous moon speech. I want you guys to listen. It's only 2 minutes, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. I want to point out some things about it. Here we go.
William Bradford, speaking in 1630, of the founding of the Plymouth Bay Colony said that all great and honorable actions are accompanied with great difficulty, and both must be enterprised and overcome with answerable courage. If this capsule history of our progress teaches us anything, it is that man in his quest for knowledge and progress is determined and cannot be deterred. The exploration of space will go ahead. Whether we join in it or not, we mean to be a part of it. We mean to lead it. For the eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon, and to the planets beyond. Our leadership in science and industry, our hopes for peace and security, our obligations to ourselves as well as others, all require us to make this effort, to solve these mysteries, to solve them for the good of all men. There is no strife, no prejudice, no national conflict in outer space as yet. Its hazards are hostile to us all. Its conquest deserves the best of all mankind. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one.
Okay, that's where I want to just play that. One of the most powerful declarations, certainly in the United States of all time, really ushered us into the space race, the space age, invented NASA. None of the technology, virtually none of the technology needed to get us to the moon existed in 1962. Yet, in the summer of 1969, I can remember clearly when they landed on the moon. It was inspiring. A couple of key elements. If Kennedy had just said, we choose to go to the moon, and didn't follow it up by saying, this decade, where would we be? Making bold declarations without a time element, without a commitment, without putting it on the calendar, without putting it in your checkbook is on some level meaningless and hollow. The key, the power, is both in the declaration and the time element. He also said that there's tremendous difficulty associated with things like this. Whenever you make a declaration, a commitment for the future, whenever you declare something into existence, because this is the real power. The power in this is that you invent a new possibility. You invent something brand new that could be wonderful. You know, you're saying, look, I'm going to help you with your car today. Or if you say, like I said years ago, I said I was going to make Team USA when I was 55. I declared to my triathlon coach. I can remember the words came out of my mouth. I said, what did I do? What did I just say? I declared I wanted to make Team USA. And Mike, my coach, goes, okay, let's do it. Right? And I was a little nervous. It took me 4 years. Ultimately, I ended up doing it. But here's the point. The minute you declare something into existence, you invent the exact opposite. The flip side. You invent the negative stuff. The possibility that it won't happen. And what happens with most people is they declare something. They're afraid. They're afraid to declare, first of all, because they know from experience that you invent the negative stuff simultaneously. So the trick to inventing, everything is going to be a struggle. Entropy. Things break down. You can't help it. You have to declare anyway. Declare new possibilities. And then act consistently with that, regardless of what the negative stuff is. Okay? Now, I told you, I promised you I was going to take it back to something very practical. I want to share one more thing with you. Probably the most powerful document. Again, we all have power to do this kind of thing. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. I invite you to read it if you haven't. Check it out. It's only 3 pages long. Changed the world forever. The beacon for people all over the world based on this document. The Founding Fathers created a new nation by declaring it. Boom. From this moment on, and when they signed on the dotted line, they committed an act of treason against Great Britain. They signed their own death warrant. If they weren't successful in the revolution, they would have been hung, for sure. And the last line of the Declaration states this: We hereby pledge our lives, our fortunes and our sacred honor to making this happen. Power. Powerful. Now, again, keep in mind they invented a new possibility, and there were lots of, fighting and killing and everything along the way. So it wasn't easy to get it done. The same thing. Let's go now. I want to make this very practical for everybody here. You have the power to invent new possibilities on the spot today when you leave here and go out, okay? And in my workbook on page, here's how it works in the tire business, in the propane industry, in the glass industry. We have dental clients. No different for dental clients than for automotive, propane. It doesn't matter. Here's the point. The customer calls up, the customer's got a problem, the customer's got issues. We know that. Your business exists to help other people, right? But at the moment they make their request to you or to your salespeople or your call center staff or whatever, the moment they make that request, they're not 100% sure if you can help them. Your job and the job of your sales staff is to say this, make this power move. Make this power move. I can help you with that. Icky-wit. I can help you with that. Why? It invents a new possibility in the instant, in the moment. I'm going to take care of you. I'm the guy. I can help you with that. All right? What's happening with my screen here? Bear with me, guys. There we go. So here's how it flows in our approach. In the beginning of the conversation, I call this the conversation for relationship. The beginning of a conversation where you want to get to know people, create a little bit of relationship, and declare a new possibility for them. Oh, I can help you with that. You are in the right place. I'm the guy. I'm going to take care of you. Your search is over. Today's your lucky day. Invent something new for them. I've got a great deal for you. Say it. Declare it to them. And then follow it up immediately with when? Conversation for action, just like Kennedy did. This decade. Only that's too far away. I'm going to help you today, right now, in real time. It's the same thing, guys, if you want to get in really good shape. You say, I'm going to go to the gym. That's a declaration. It's kind of meaningless if you don't put the follow-up in, right? I'm going today at 5 o'clock. I'm going to meet with my trainer. His name's Mike. We're going to work out today. I'm getting in really good shape this year. I'm going to run a 10K. I'm going to run a marathon. All stuff about the future, you know. So here's the key, guys. In the back of my workbook, I have other examples of power moves. And we create these with clients for different industries. But here's, a lot of you are in the automotive industry. And a lot of these can be transferred. But here's some things that I've created for you at the back of the workbook. I can help you with that. You're in the right place. I'm the guy. I'm the make it happen man. And I want to say this, I'm the make it happen man was a declaration that one of my students shared with me, and I love it. That's what he tells his clients. The minute they call up, he says, hey, Mrs. Jones, you're in the right place because I'm the make it happen man for you today. And he says it with a nice southern accent. It knocks him over every time. Now keep in mind, this is the first move. These are declarations. I won't be beat on price. I'm going to take care of you. As a matter of fact, my only job here is to become your car guy. For how long? Forever. As long as I'm here, you can count on me. I'm the guy. Then let's talk about price. Let's talk about the technical specifications and all that other stuff. That's fine. But you have to make the power moves up front. If you don't, watch. I'm going to show you something else about the power in what I'm talking about. Watch. Many times, here's the customer calling up about price. The customer calls up about price. And this is the moment. This is right now. And they called up and said, how much is blank? How much is a set of tires? How much is a brake job? How much is your propane? How much is your gas? Whatever they're calling about. If you leave it as a price conversation, it will stay as a price conversation. We know what happens a lot of times when people ask about price. The minute you give them the price, they go bye-bye. Your job is to change the conversation. That's why declarations are so powerful. Mike, I'd love to talk about price with you. Price shoppers are my best customers. So I'm going to tell you all about my pricing, but first I want you to know this. If you work with me, I become your car guy. You know how long? Forever. My job is to make sure that you're safe. I inspect vehicles. I make sure you get the best warranties, the best products, everything for you. This is the same as, making a power move with your girlfriend if you want to get married. I want to live with you for the rest of my life. I want to grow old with you. I want to buy houses with you. I want to retire with you. I want to live my life with you. It's the same move. It's way different than just talking about price. Technical mumbo jumbo that just put people to sleep. I'll tell you this, I listened not too long ago to a 33-minute call about tire prices, tire sizes, combinations and permutations of rim diameters, and then it went on for 33 minutes. I listened to the beginning. I did not listen to the whole call. I listened to the beginning. I listened in the middle. It sounded just like the beginning. And I listened to the end. The end sounded just like the middle. And it was all about information, all about data. Never got to the power move that I'm talking about here. My invitation to you, all of you today, become, and I can help you with that, human being today. Start today. Leave this call, go out into the world, and declare to everyone you come in contact in business today, I'm going to help you. I can help you with that. I'm the guy. I'm going to take care of you. And I'm going to do it right now, or I'm going to do it by 5. Put it in the calendar. Power, real power. I want to leave you with this other thought, especially for the leaders, people that manage stores, that manage companies, that manage divisions. Really important for you to master this skill. The future for your department, for your company, for your group of stores, or whatever level you're engaged in, the future is invented in the story, the narrative that you make up and invent in language. And take time and care with it, and then deliver it with some power. And tell your team and tell your people where you're headed, what you're all about, what it's going to look like. Paint a picture for other people. Okay? Really powerful to be able to do that. Okay? But back to this price thing again real quick, and then we'll end this call. In the real time, this is power. For you to be able to change the conversation to a new conversation. That's what we're talking about. And change the course of that price discussion to one of commitment, long-term relationship, and come in and see me, or I'll come out and see you, whatever the case is, one or the other. But that's it for Uncle Dan today. I appreciate everybody being here. We had a great crew, nice crowd, and I look forward to seeing all of you again online here. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Peace.